Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, inspiration, and hope. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and I am thrilled and honored to be here today for another episode of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, Posh Living, starring Zane Carson Carruth. Zayn is a dear friend. We've known each other for a number of years now. She's an entrepreneur. She's a philanthropist. She is an international award-winning author, and she's an all-around really good person. She's also an expert when it comes to etiquette and protocol. She's a writer, and she is someone who will help you in any way that she can. Let's welcome her to the program. Zayn, come on out. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm so happy to see you. I don't get to see you enough. How are you doing?
Good. I'm glad to be here today because, yeah, you're right. I mean, we see each other about once a month when we do this show.
Absolutely. But we're in touch in between. And I feel like, as I mentioned, we've known each other for a number of years. I want to say going back to 2018 or 17. I'm not really sure. Yeah. But you continue to grow and evolve. And I just love that about you. You're not standing still in the corner going, oh, I'm not sure what to do next.
Well, you know, I have no quit in me, and it doesn't always serve me well. It certainly doesn't serve my pocketbook well sometimes. But yes, you know, you just keep thinking and thinking and thinking and growing and growing. And regardless if it's the right direction or not, I just can't stop.
But, you know, there is something to be said about that. I do a lot of research, and every time I read something about someone who's very successful, they failed. They failed at something, but they kept going. And if you don't put yourself out there, you're never going to know what you could possibly achieve. And you have achieved so much. What would you say of all that you've created, all that you've done? What would you say are some of your greatest accomplishments?
I think, no, without doubt, my biggest source of pride is my little Abella, the books, The World's First Tooth Fairy, the trademark series, because it's taken on a life of its own. And she is so loved and enjoyed by children. And that makes me feel good and happy because, you know, people come up to me and they talk about it and they send me pictures of their little children reading the books or being read to. And she's made an impact. And I love that. I love that about her because she's real to me. She's real special. So that's what I'm most proud of. That, besides my daughter, you know, besides your kids, your project is your second most biggest source of pride.
Absolutely, of course. So how and when did you come up with Abella?
You know, it was just a fluke. I didn't intend to write about the tooth fairy. I just picked up a spiral notebook. It's probably been, I don't know, 28 years ago. My daughter was gone and I was waiting for her to come home. And I just started writing because I love to write. I've always kept a journal. So I always have a pen and a spiral notebook. I mean, wherever I go, I have one. So I just started writing about this little entitled Pampered Little Fairy Girl who was very loved by her parents and, you know, girly girl. So, and then once, if you don't know the story, she loses her purse and she drops it and a pearl falls off and she's devastated because that's her favorite thing. And she needs to replace that pearl on her purse. And the idea was just hatched right then. This could be about the tooth fairy. I can figure this out. So from that point, the story just wrote itself. Just like that, the story just wrote itself, and it was a fun one. And not all of my books have been that easy to write, but that one was.
You know what's so interesting, Zane, is that wherever you are in the world, we can't speak for everyone, but the tooth fairy is beloved. People just they think, oh, I'm going to lose a tooth and I'm going to get some money. They naturally go together.
Yes, it's a rite of passage that parents enjoy and kids enjoy because it takes away the sting of losing a tooth and the pain of going through all of that. So, because the tooth fairy's going to come and you're going to get, something left under your pillow, usually something money. And, different countries have different values of what you get. And sometimes I'm shocked at how much some kids get because if the parents have no change, they'll put a $20 bill in there if that's all they have because, the tooth fairy comes. She doesn't disappoint.
Absolutely. And you know what I love? It would be so great as we got older. We lose a tooth as a child, we get money, and another tooth comes. But if we don't take care of our teeth when we get older, there's no tooth fairy coming.
No, that's right. You've got to take care of your permanent teeth because you get paid for your baby teeth, but your permanent teeth, the loss is your own.
Lesson learned. So, what is the evolution of Abella? I know you have a new book coming out. Tell us what her journey's been from that first book to where she's going to be when we talk about the new book.
Okay, well, her first book was just pure fantasy. It was just all my imagination, and then it kind of evolved into being having some real people in it, real historic value or reality in it, because like my last book, Abella Goes to the Rodeo, it focuses on a rodeo Hall of Fame cowboy, a barrel racer, the barrel man. And then this last book is based on my racehorse. That's my boxer. And he got a bad toothache. And, that was just very traumatic for me and for him. But, in fairy tale world, Abella fixes it. So that's what the next one is about. He dreams of being a racehorse, but he's got to be able to eat, and he can't eat because he has a bad tooth. So anyway, so that's how it's evolved. And I can see myself doing more books like that, maybe, interviewing jockeys or whatever adventure for her to have, bringing in some real life experienced people. So there's a little bit more of a value to it. So they learn something from it.
Fantastic. And here we are, we're over on LinkedIn, Zane Carruth, and we can see here the cover, which is so unique. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, that's my boxer dreaming of being a racehorse. It's Abella in the Almost Racehorse because it's almost based on a true story. And but he actually was a racehorse for a little while, but we had to pull him out of training when he got his abscessed tooth, but he'll go back in. But that's what he's doing. He's just dreaming of being a racehorse, and he meets his trainer on the last page. So you'll have to. So now I've got to write another book to show what happens once he gets back into training. But that's what that's about. That's my love. That's my boxer.
Well, and that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I have a question for you that is really for all of the authors out there. Right before this, I met with our friend, Mr. Red O'Laughlin, who's also an author, and he was telling me about a new artificial intelligence process that can actually create images that you can use on book covers and other things. And so some authors are like, tell me more, let me have it. And others like, no. How do you feel about incorporating artificial intelligence into your work?
I welcome the ideas because, you do rack your brain a lot of times trying to think, what is this cover going to look like? What am I going to put on here? And if I could just have a few little hints, I probably wouldn't use one because I love my illustrator and no one can draw Bella like him. But if I could just get a few hints, I think that would be great. I'm not opposed to it. I wouldn't let one write a book for me or do anything like that. But just to give me some hints on what I could do for some illustrations or because right now what I do is I use two different illustrators just to get their ideas because one has better ideas than the other. So, one does well in this area and one does well on that. So, I have to pay two different people just to come up with something clever. So, an artificial intelligence that would give me another venue to go to tap into. I'm all for it.
I love that. I love your openness because why not? Why not find out what our ideas are out there and whether it's from a human or a robot and consider it and then make your own decision.
Well, that's right. Because if you don't understand it and you don't do it, you're going to be left behind, regardless if you agree with it or not. you ought to at least learn about it and give it a try, because you don't want to be that dinosaur. Don't let the old man in.
That's so true. And Zane, you've done a number of personal appearances. You were at Neiman Markets. I saw you're going back to Neiman's. Is it in Houston?
I did. We did that last week, and all of the rodeo mascots came because it was Abella Goes to the Rodeo. That was very well attended. That was a lot of fun because those kids, oh my gosh, seeing Howdy and Miss Moo and Mr. Cowboy, they got a kick out of that. So it was a fun day. It really was. We sold a lot of books and a lot of pajamas.
That's fantastic. Now, Zane, something I'd like to move on to is you are in the public eye. You do a lot of fundraising for people and for certain causes that you're interested in, and you're under the microscope, so to speak. And yet it's not always that easy to do, to be in the public eye. And you are an expert when it comes to etiquette and protocol. So what can you share with our audience for people who are in the public domain? They are a public figure, and yet they can't seem to get any privacy, like the royal family, for example.
Well, you have to just pick and choose. And one thing I would tell the younger group coming up that are getting into the philanthropic world, you have to pick and choose what you're going to do, because once they see your name on something, you're asked to donate to everything under the sun. You just really are. And we have some people that go, if we're not sitting on a board, we're not donating. You can't sit on every board, but you do have to decide what's important to you. And as far as going out in the public, you just can't go out looking like a hobo because people know you and they stop you and they see you and, they want to talk to you. And it's a challenge. You can't just scoot somewhere. You have to, put on your best smile. I'll put it like that. And you can't be rude and you can't lose your patience, but just all the things we learned growing up, that hasn't changed.
It's very true. I know even when I go teach fitness classes, I have my hair jewelry and I've got like it's just me. I'm putting on sort of a costume of me as a fitness instructor. So it's something else that I think is really important when it comes to etiquette and protocol. And you do write articles and you are available for public speaking, is that you can take something internally if someone says something and react. What is the etiquette on the reaction?
You just have to realize, one, whatever they said, if it was rude or if it was crude or indifferent, it's not a reflection on you. It's a reflection on them. And you just have to remember that. And you just have to adapt that philosophy to just, it's okay to say nothing. You don't have to respond to everything. You can't have knee-jerk reactions to everything, because otherwise you're torn in knots all the time. I mean, some of these book reviews, some of the book reviews I've gotten make my mouth drop open. I'm thinking, you're writing that about a children's book? So you just have to develop a thick skin and realize, if you're out in the public, you're going to be picked on and you're going to be complimented. You're going to be criticized and you're going to have nice things said about you. You run the gamut. So you just have to be open to that. And, or otherwise just stay under the radar as best you can, if you can.
I think that's a really valid point, that if you are putting yourself out there as an author, for example, you just mentioned with reviews, you have no control over who's leaving a review. And by the way, somebody leaving a review is an absolute miracle to begin with. Yeah. But if they're leaving a review and it's not really what you like, and you don't have thick skin, you could just fall apart and say, I'm not writing anything anymore. That's it. I'm done.
Well, yeah, because the very first really bad review I got, I was just shocked. And my husband says, well, you've got to expect that, because, you put yourself out there, this person, is hiding behind a computer. But then the more I read it, it almost became comical, because I thought, really? You read every single page. And so what? How can you have that many thoughts about a children's book that is so well received by so many people? One lady said the books were just too colorful. Now, who thinks like that? Just too colorful.
I've never heard that before. Don't we want a world full of color?
She was in a bad mood when she read my book, and doggone it, it was just too colorful. So that's what I mean. You just scratch your head sometime and go, well, okay, you read my book. Thank you. That means you bought it. So next.
Right. That's right. And we don't know where someone's coming from, what they're going through. And a lot of times people just react and they take whatever they're feeling, they just throw it on somebody else, especially in the public domain. They might look and go, oh, she is everything, he is everything, and I don't, I'm sitting here, boo-hoo.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes, yeah.
So Zayn, something else
like to pick on you.
Yeah, they do. They do. Something else I want to talk to you about, because I mentioned to you before the show that I'm really experiencing interacting with younger women, younger people through fitness courses and whatnot. And there seems to be a lack of focus. And I'm just saying in general, and looking up to us, you and me in the collective as entrepreneurs. So for younger people who are interested in whether it's being an author or it is being a public speaker or an entrepreneur, what are some of the things, what's some guidance that you can give?
Well, one thing, know your topic, know what you're talking about. Make sure you're being taken seriously. But as far as younger people, they go through spells where, they're interested in partying or they're interested in getting ahead. And when they're really ready to move ahead, they'll reach out or they'll take you seriously. But other than that, you just kind of have to do the best you can with that. I don't know what else to say on that subject other than they're an enigma a lot of times.
Thank you for that. And have you found as women that we are more supportive of each other than in the past? Because we have a women's program here, Women's Prerogative. We have a number of women who come from different backgrounds, and they're always about supporting, lifting up women. Do you find that in reality in your life that women are really, hey, here's my hand, let me help pull you up?
Yes. In my world, it is. That's what I have found. I've been very fortunate, but I have a very small network. So, people have been very supportive and nice, and they've done and said good things. So I have found that to be a blessing in my life, because otherwise, it gets hard. You're talking about those bad reviews because that's coming from somebody. But no, the women that I know and that I associate with are very, very supportive, and I'm very fortunate for that.
That is truly a blessing. And yes, you and I have talked backstage and actually on other programs. You have a very demanding schedule and you always look so darn beautiful. What are some things? What are some things that you do for self-care? We had a trainer on here that you've worked with.
Yeah.
So tell us, what is a routine that you typically follow to get that glow and to get that beautiful empowerment that's coming out of you?
Well, thank you. Well, one thing I always do without fail, regardless of how tired I am, and sometimes you're just 100% exhausted, is I wash my face with good cleanser, and then I have 3 different creams I put on, and you have to wait and let each one dry. 4 or 5 if you count up. So I'm very. Oh, and I started using Retin-A back in my 30s, which I think really made a difference. Some dermatologists told me about it when I was a young woman, and I've just always used Retin-A, and now I use, advanced products of that. But I just use goods. I take very good care of my skin. And like I said, I don't go to sleep with makeup on, and I make sure I cream. And sunscreen. You've got to do that. But that's what I do. But thank you for asking, and thank you for noticing, because it's a lot of work.
It is. But you look beautiful, and it comes from within. I know from all the shows we do on longevity, it's about what you put into your body, whether it's food, it's toxins that we put on our skin, or we put on our the products that we're using. Mm-hmm. So we have to be really cautious about that. So whatever you're doing, keep it up.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Because you're so tempted when you're just so tired of I'm just going to go to bed and I'll get up and do it later. But later comes way too long. Way too
You
late.
wake up, there's pimples, there's this, there's that. Yeah, I know. I've done that a few times. So what else would you like to share with our audience about what you're working on, what's going on in your world?
Well, right now is a good time to be in Houston, Texas, because we have the world's largest rodeo going on right now for the next 21 days. And for the last 3 years, my husband was chairman of the board, which made me first lady of the rodeo. Well, I'm not that anymore, but I still have a big part to play. But I just want to talk up the rodeo and let people know the tremendous amount of good that it does. It provides about $25 million in scholarships annually to children in the Texas area, and vocational scholarships they've added this year for welding and woodworking and plumbing, which is something new for them. So that opens up a world for people to get those good scholarships. And even during COVID, when we had no rodeo, and my husband was head of it then, they still gave away their $25 million because when they make a commitment, they do. Plus the value that the rodeo brings to the city and income for the hotels, the clothes, the food, the restaurants, taxi cab service, all of that. It's about $250 million a year. Like last night, Blake Shelton performed, and so did Gwen Stefani. I mean, the crowd went nuts when she got on stage. So people, it's attended. The concerts and the rodeo itself is attended by around 70,000 people. That's stadium seating. But then the grounds will hold maybe 120,000 people. So, it's huge. People come from all over the world to our rodeo. And if you're in Houston this time of year, I would highly encourage you to go to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It's you'll be amazed. You will just be amazed at the generosity of the people and the cowboys. Oh my gosh, they're incredible. And the performances are second to none. I mean, this year Jelly Roll was the biggest. He was the sellout. Now, I'd never heard of Jelly Roll, but I'll be going to see him. I can't wait because I'm obviously in the minority because he is a big ticket item this year.
That's amazing. We do have the website pulled up, which is rodeohouston.com. It looks very exciting. Is this open to anyone in the general public?
Oh yeah, you just buy a ticket and you go through a scanner, and the security is second to none. I mean, they've got SWAT team people everywhere and undercover cops, so you will feel very safe and secure even though you're in a big crowd like that. And the food vendors, oh my gosh. Everything from barbecue to Mexican food. Oh, fried Oreos, fried Twinkies, fried anything. You can eat from morning till dusk and not go through all of the, well, let's see, Bun B. Yes, Bun B. He has a hamburger place out here called Trill Burger. Well, if you're not there at 11 o'clock, you're waiting in line for an hour just to get one of his hamburgers. So, yes. Yeah, he's something else. And 50 Cent, we all know and love 50 Cent. His champagne has won the best of class for the last 2 years in a row. So, there's a lot more to people than what meets the eye.
And it sounds like you could come to this event and be here for how long? How long does it last?
21 days.
Wow.
Yeah, you could come what people do is they've got 40,000 volunteers. That's who runs the rodeo, are these volunteers. And these people save their vacation time. They use it all during the rodeo. And a lot of people rent apartments just during the rodeo. Like if they live in a subdivision that's far away, they will rent an apartment so they can come to the rodeo at the right time. And because they stay late. I mean, the rodeo's over on the weekdays at about, I think last night we didn't leave there till like 10:30. So, and it starts at 6:45. So you get your money's worth.
Sounds like you sure do. And also, I love the fact that right here on the website, there's a whole section for volunteers, exhibitors, and contestants, and scholarships and grants.
Yes. Yeah. They have a staff that's second to none. They really do. And this year, for the first time, they have a lady chairman of the board. So the lady who's followed Brady is named Pat Mann Phillips, and she's great. She's doing a wonderful job. And she is, I think she does a great job regardless if she's a lady or not, but she's getting a lot of attention because she's a female. And I look forward to the day where she just gets a lot of attention because she's done a good job. But she's doing a great job, and she's very well accepted and liked. So that's new for the rodeo. That and the vocational scholarships are new this year.
That's huge. It's so much more than what people would think that it is.
World largest. I mean, you're not going to get any bigger than world largest.
No, that takes the cake for sure. What was it like, and what has it been like for you and your husband to be at the center of all of this?
Well, we're expected to be there every day. Like for the last couple of years, I went to every show. Well, last year at the end of the show, I ended up in the hospital with double pneumonia in both lungs in the hospital, because you push yourself so hard because you have so much out of town company coming, and you want to make sure everybody's having a good time and that they get there, and you have to arrange for drivers and to pick them up. And oh, it's exhausting, but it's fun. I miss being the first lady. It's like, now what do we do? But we still go and we do our part, and we enjoy it.
I think for people who are not aware of what is involved with event planning, I was in event planning in corporate. I sold events. It's a huge, a massive undertaking. How far in advance do they have to start working on this event? Let's say, are they already on to 2026? Like
as soon as this, excuse me, yeah. As soon as this rodeo wraps, they'll start working on next year. Yeah, because they'll do a wrap-up meeting and say, okay, well, we need to beef up security, or this food vendor was good or not good, or we need this, we need that. They will analyze everything and then start working on the next year. Yeah, because even during COVID, when my husband was head of it, they had meetings, 3 or 4 meetings a week. And we usually spend our summers elsewhere, but he would fly back into Houston every other week all summer long just to go to meetings in person. And then, there were all these Zoom meetings. So it's no small undertaking, and everybody takes it very seriously. Nobody just goes like, it's the rodeo. No, it's the rodeo. That's the difference.
With the capital THE, right?
It's the rodeo. Yes.
And then there has to be a certain amount of downtime afterwards, because you've been in the limelight, smiling, your face like this, smiling the whole time.
Well, you're a horse, you can't talk anymore. And because the rodeo actually closes. The rodeo office closes for a week to give those people a break. And then most everybody takes a vacation. They'll go somewhere. Like, we've already booked our tickets to go to Saratoga Springs to see That's My Boxer. We got to check on him. So
that's awesome. So tell us a little bit, as we are coming to the end of the show, what it's like to own a horse, a racehorse specifically. What type of time involvement is there for that?
Well, the main thing is the financial involvement, because our horse is in New York, and in the summer when we're in New York, I go see him at least once or twice a week. But they cost you a lot of money, and if they don't win races, they're not paying for themselves. And right now, That's My Boxer's not paying for himself. He has won some money, and we have some money in our horse racing account for him. But that's the biggest thing. You just can't get them and think, oh, well, they're going to pay for themselves, because lucky are you when that happens. Matter of fact, I got a call today from a different kind of trainer. There's a race called steeplechase, where they jump over those fences. That's steeplechase racing. And those horses have the ability to go a lot longer. And that's what he does. He would be good in steeplechase. So when we hang up today, I'm going to call that trainer and, talk about maybe putting That's My Boxer in with him and his training program to be a steeplechase runner, because he has one speed. He just has one speed. You need more than one speed if you're going to win a race, but you can win a steeplechase race with just one good speed.
So with all the time and financial investment, what ends up happening if it doesn't work out the way you'd like it to?
Well, there are organizations that take retired racehorses. You pay a fee and they take them, and then they give them to, or they have programs with vets, PTSD or however that, those kind of vets. and different people. Or you can, sell them to an individual. A lot of times people will buy racehorses to be show horses. They will show them, or they will be jumpers, because, horses can jump. That just comes naturally to them. So there are others, they have a second career. So you don't just, I don't know, but we'll take very good care of our horses, whatever, because I love, that's my boxer. So whatever happens to him, it will be something that we put a lot of thought into, and that's something that will make him very happy. It won't just be, we're going to sell him on the open market. No.
Absolutely. I have no doubt, Zane. Everything you do with such finesse and style. Let our audience know what's coming up next for you in addition to the book. What can we look forward to?
Well, right now I'm just thinking about what my next book's going to be, and I'll be launching Abella and the Almost Racehorse. So I'll be doing book signings and book tours. So if you would like a book signing, or if you want me to come to your school and read, I can do that. If it's around the Houston area, or if you have a bookstore, I'm happy to come to your bookstore regardless where that is. But that's it. I will just be spending my time promoting that. And then I also have a video out that's being shopped for a little TV series or a special. So that has been a long, laborious process. But anything worth doing is going to be a long, laborious process. So we'll just hang in there. So see what happens. But
you want to tell us any more about that?
Well, the guy who produced Thomas the Tank Engine, Little People, and Naughty produced this little 5-minute 3D full color video. And then the guy who has won 2 Grammys, the last one for Mr. Neighborhood, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, he wrote this theme song. So, it's got some big heavy hitters behind it that believe in it. And it will be presented to PBS probably in about a month. But we'll just have to see where we're going to go with it, because it's very uncertain right now what children's cartoons look like, which, we need to bring back innocence. And I am adamant about bringing back innocence to children's lives. And I think doing a little TV show or a special or a movie, whatever, to get people thinking innocently instead of fighting and all those other things that kids are exposed to, the toxic things.
Absolutely. We need more of that here. We are showing your website as well, which I said this before. I love this website because there's so much to look at, and it really draws you in.
It's
so
busy.
Yeah, no, it's interesting though. It really keeps your mind centered. So where would you like people to go on the website? What do you want them to know about it?
Well, you can look under the book section, or if you wanted to look at my videos, if you think you might want me to come on your TV show or one of your platform, I'm happy to do that. And just the causes, and then that whole thing about Neiman's The Books to Bed is in there, which I recommend that to anybody who needs to give a gift, because it's a little pair of pajamas with illustrations of my books on them, and then you pair it with one of the books, and it just makes for a delightful gift for children. But those are all my books.
And I love how you have your books in Spanish as well.
Yes, they're all in Spanish. Yes. Matter of fact, this Saturday at the International Committee, my book will be read to the kids, because a lot of people come in from South America. So it will be read in Spanish. I'll read it in English, and somebody else will read it in Spanish. So, and those are good sellers. Obviously where we are in Houston, we have a large Hispanic population, but the books sell. So that's good. That's fun. But who can't relate to the Tooth Fairy? We all can relate to the Tooth Fairy.
It's so true, Zane. You're such an inspiration in so many ways. I really love that. And as I said before, you're so down to earth. You're just such a sweet, bubbly, effervescent person. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you, and who would you like to contact you?
Well, if you want an article written about etiquette, just tell me what it is, and I'm happy to do it. You can just get in touch with me, ztcarson@yahoo.com, or go through my website, info@zanecarruth.com. Or, if you want me to speak at an event, a ladies group, or any of your platform or interview me for a magazine, I'm open to, I do all of that. So, I mean, I'm happy to do a book reading or a book signing at your bookstore.
Fantastic. I love the fact that you'll travel as well. Zane is ready to go out on the road. So
I'm ready to hit the road. These boots are ready.
Well, thank you again for being here with us for another episode of Elegance. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next month. And thank you to our audience for being here. We really do appreciate you. And please do follow us on our YouTube channel, USA Global TV and Radio. We're also expanding to Roku, to Amazon Fire. We're working on Apple TV, not as simple, and also Samsung. So look for us on those additional platforms as well. Thanks so much. We'll see you again soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zayn, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zayn is the author of the world's first tooth fairy ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com. and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zayn, contact her through her website, zanecarruth.com, ZANECARRUTH.com. Order Zayn's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event.